Funny Valentine affected you deeply. Yeah, he did. It doesn't matter if you didn't agree with his words or you fully thought he was in the right and a hero, he affected you. His words each held strong personal meanings to them, which correlated with his duty as the president and the son of a fallen soldier. The speeches he gives us with his charisma and a strong devotion to his country all come down to different things that make up his character, and an antagonist in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Steel Buran. Araki really became different when he wrote Funny Valentine. Well, he didn't become fully different, as he wrote some amazing villains before and some traits still remain in Valentine. But Araki finally gave us a villain where we had to question whether they were in the right or wrong with their goals. Pucci could fall into that category, but the most strongly written one that was more personal to their character was none other than the 23rd President of the United States, Funny Valentine. The dialogue that this character gave out was some of the strongest we have gotten in the entire JoJo series, and we can really tell that Valentine believes in every word he says, and is true to his ideals. And with this dialogue, we all had a question in mind. Was Funny Valentine right? Was his motives the best for what he was striving for, and was his actions to get his goal the right course? Today I'll be taking a look at this question and answering it by looking into the full character of Funny Valentine. I want to dive into his backstory, his duty, ideals, and of course how his stand D4C correlates with his characterization, because as we know, stands reflect off of the user's personality. The way Funny Valentine is so perfectly built up in the story was really amazing to see, as we all had thought he was just a selfish, power-hungry president, while that changed later down the line, so we could kind of sympathize with his ideals and see how much he cares about his country. But where does this strong love of his country stem from? Well, it stems from the loss of his father, which I'll get right into now as we dive into the backstory of Funny Valentine. Valentine was a child who had no father. He at least didn't know his whereabouts or why he wasn't there for the majority of his life. He didn't know what a father's love is, and he had no idea if his father truly loved him as well. That was until he was 7 years old and a captain from the army came to his house. The captain, well, he had brought something alongside him that could be a belonging of Valentine's father. He didn't bring his father though, and he didn't have the location of his whereabouts as well. But what he brought with him was a napkin and a story of a great soldier. The captain didn't hold back telling the gruesome story to the young Funny Valentine, as he had explained the torment this soldier had went through to not only hide his plans of their country's army, but also hide the napkin that had his son's birthday on it. The soldier had been tortured and tortured, but he still didn't give in. Well, he couldn't give in. The reason? He had a strong sense of patriotism inside of him. Patriotism, the quality of being patriotic and having a large devotion to one's country. The soldier had this quality and risked his life for the pride of his country and also his family. Someone who had stayed true to the ideals to the very end. Sounds like someone, right? Well, after hearing this story, the young Funny Valentine was strongly influenced by his father's action as a soldier. He inherited that strong patriotic sense which had made him proud of his country. He began to care deeply for his country that he would do anything to protect. That was his right as a son of a soldier who had died for his country in the most equally cruelest and best kind of way possible, due to their ideals at least. Funny Valentine took up the napkin his father left him in the memory of him, as well as his motivation to protect his country. It would serve to move him onto the path he had created for himself, as well as a reminder for why he had chosen that path. To start off his journey to protect his country in the best sort of way, Funny Valentine became a soldier. Just like his father, he joined the army, but he would only use that as a stepping stone to gain a higher role. Nevertheless, as a soldier, he proudly protected his country. One day, deep within the desert, Funny Valentine had stumbled across Devil's Palm, the place where people gain stand abilities if they're worthy enough. This place was also where Valentine had come across his first corpse part, the first one being the heart that gave him dirty deeds done dirt cheap, D4C. This was one of his first steps in gaining power, a power strong enough to help support his country in unimaginable ways. D4C's ability of being able to bring multiple versions of himself from different dimensions is also great, as it correlates to his character a lot. He's able to replace himself at times as he trusts himself. He has no doubts in his character and trusts the actions that he takes parts in. This truly gives us notice that his heart doesn't waver. He knows what he does right and what he does wrong, and his goal is in the right place in his eyes. He truly believes that and has no doubts. which is why D4C is a really great stand for himself. Now, after finding out about the first corpse part, he realizes there's more that could give him additional and larger power, and when he finally becomes the president, this makes him have the opportunity to finally seek out the rest of the corpse parts that are vital in protecting his country in the best kind of way. That is how Funny Valentine had come to be in the present time of the story, and this shows that Valentine was built on the death of his father and the strong sense of patriotism that he had inherited from him. He found that father's love that he had never known of after listening to the story of his father, and that serves as a big part in him doing the things that he does in Stillborn. Funny Valentine has a strong sense of duty. It's not even from his role as the president, but from a more personal spot. The duty that Valentine has pushes him to do all sorts of things. He would murder, extort, lie, and all sorts of evil acts because of his duty. He's willing to do anything to complete his goal, even if he has to do all these immoral things. But that's exactly why he's a villain, and makes us question if he's right or not. Everything he does is from his duty, patriotism, and personal ideals that he has. And the goal that he has is pretty good. He strongly follows this stuff so much that he wouldn't let anyone other than himself get their hands on the corpse parts. If someone does, he sends people to kill them, or even brings himself to kill them himself to take the corpse parts into his own hands. He follows the napkin rule. I'm sure everyone remembers the first napkin speech he had went on about, but if you don't, I'll go over it quickly. Quote, "Suppose that you were sitting down at this table. The napkins are in front of you. Which napkin would you take? The one on your left or the one on your right? The correct answer is that it is determined by the one who takes his or her napkin first. Yes? If the first one takes their napkin to the right, then there's no choice but for the others to also take the right napkin. This is society, who are the ones that determine the price of land first. There must have been someone who determined the value of money first. The one who took the first napkin determined all of these things. The one who takes the napkin first must be someone who is respected by all. It's not that anyone can fulfill this role. Those that are despicable or unworthy will be scorned. In a society like this table, one who makes the first move, everyone must follow." End quote. That's just a quick look at Valentine's napkin speech, and it's very important to his character. It tells us the ideals that he has and how he'll go through with them. Each immoral act is a step towards peace for his country. He'll do this as he has taken the first napkin in protecting his country. He won't let anyone disrespect his role, and if they do, well, they're dead. His ideals are perfectly situated into the story as a foil to Johnny. Their dynamic is amazing in my eyes and is used perfectly well by Araki to show how the two opposites would come together. Johnny is someone who's selfish, hates his father due to his father disliking him, wants to use the corpse parts to just heal his legs, and is a totally different person from Funny Valentine. Valentine has all of these things. He's not selfish, as he would do anything for his country. He gained his father's love and would use the corpse parts to protect America. They're two total opposites that would have an interesting interaction with each other, and they did. Johnny even questioned himself if he would actually undo the spin on Valentine, because he sees Valentine as an even more righteous person than himself. The whole interaction between these two not only includes Johnny questioning if Valentine is right or not, but also us questioning that same thing, which is the main point of this video. Was Funny Valentine right? And would have it been better if Johnny just gave the corpse parts to him? Well, this is up to your own interpretation on what's right. If you think that it's okay to kill a load of people to eventually protect your country, you're sick in the head, but you're pretty patriotic and are proud of your country. Or if you think Funny Valentine's immoral actions are evil and he's just delusional, you're definitely not a sick person, but you don't really understand his circumstances. I believe Funny Valentine has his heart in the right place. He's proud of his country and would do anything to protect it from anything dangerous. That's definitely a good mindset to have as a president, but the things that he does on his way to collect the corpse parts are some really bad things. I do think his goal is right, but his actions definitely are not. He thinks he's above everyone and kind of has an elite standing, but he's righteous and at least knows some good things. Funny Valentine making us question him is really great writing, and I love how he's set up as a force as big as this. Through all of his immoral acts, his heart and actions remain utterly unclouded because to him they are all those of justice.